So you're thinking about relocating to Vegas? We're going to talk about tips and everything you should know about moving to Vegas. I'm Jessica Hallenbeck with Signature Real Estate, and this is my friend.
Hi everyone, Shelly Panzarella with Prosperity Lending.
We're just going to chat about things that you should maybe, I don't know, think about. We obviously are having people move here, like crazy because it's Vegas. What do you think are some of the main reasons people are moving here today?
You know, I've actually seen a lot of people who are moving here because they're able to be remote, which is crazy. It used to be something that we'd have to go to a higher up to basically get a letter from an employer to state that they could live outside of their normal work area. But now it's like part of the norm, right? Like this remote living. And so who wouldn't want to live in Vegas?
That's right. So we have a great airport system here. So, you can be almost anywhere from Vegas. Lots of direct flights. And so this is a great hub for that. Another thing to mention is our affordability and our housing prices. We obviously have been going up in price here over the last several years, but we're still relatively affordable. And with combined low interest rates, it really does make Vegas a great spot to live.
Plus no state tax, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's a great, our border friends right across nearest to the ocean, they love to come to us because of the no state tax,
That's right.
And then what about this, our beautiful weather? You can't beat the weather.
Yes, it's like sunny here over 200 plus days always. I mean, it's all, and yes, it's a little warm in the summer months, but it only lasts for about 2 months.
Yeah.
And we have air conditioning.
That's right. That's right.
Something else is we actually have relatively low property taxes.
That's true. Very true. Even car registration, which is silly. Like people don't think about that. I mean, seriously, I have my husband's from New York, and he was so surprised that it was like half the cost.
Right.
So just cost of living in general, right, is going to be a lot lower than different areas of the country. So.
Right. But our auto insurance may be a little higher than what you're used to, but all the other things actually offset. It actually depends on your zip code. Okay. So if you live in a zip code that has a record of having lower crashes, you have a better rate.
Good to know.
A lot of times people don't know that.
Yeah, no, I always thought it's after you hit a certain age, you just pretty much after I hit 40 years old, they're like, okay, Shelly, you're a safe driver now. Maybe.
Yeah, that's true too. But no, it's actually, I know when I moved here, I was like, why is this so much more expensive to drive, for the insurance?
Yeah.
I also was, younger, so that makes sense. But I don't even know what it costs now. I make my husband pay the bill.
That's right. Same for me. Yeah, so I think the difference is, many differences obviously here. We used to be known as just a tourist city, and I feel like we've just grown over the years to be so much more professional. Obviously we've got some major sports now, and so a lot of different things that are bringing people to Vegas.
Absolutely. I mean, hockey was the catalyst, and then we ended up with the Raiders. I know we have a women's pro team here. We're probably going to get men's, is what I hear. They talk about a professional baseball. So these are all things that will probably come in once one thing is here. They can't say no to anything else. And then we get people that come here and absolutely love to watch their sporting events here because they're already going to travel. We're such a tourist destination.
But that's not just that anymore.
Exactly.
It's so much more.
We're way more diverse than we ever were. Industries have moved here. We have areas of town that are growing. For instance, Apex will expand, which is an industrial spot where we have Amazon fulfillment centers, and you name it. Like we really do have a variety of businesses to support our economy, and I think that's a reason why things are different in this time frame versus years ago.
Yeah, I would agree on that. I think, it used to be like the known thing that everybody would say, oh, you live in Vegas, so like, do you eat at the buffets all the time? And you're like, or do you go to the casino for like lunch breaks? You're like, no, there's actually like, life here in Vegas, and even more so today than there ever was. So it's pretty cool, because I've actually lived here almost 40 years. So
wow,
it's amazing to see what the growth has been like over the years. So.
Right. It really is. I remember streets ending at certain places, and and now we're literally expanding, Pahrump and surrounding areas where people are moving to as well.
Well, whether you like golf or you like mountain biking or you like boating, or we even have a ski resort and all the different things that are really within 45 minutes to an hour drive, depending on what area of the town that you live in. It's a great city. I've loved living here. I've loved raising my child here. So
same. My kids are Vegas born. I'm not Vegas born originally, but it's my home. I absolutely love it here. I can't see myself being anywhere else.
Yeah, I would agree. And so relocating into Las Vegas, it's definitely easier when you have people, experts like you and myself.
Right.
I've definitely seen, obviously with the low rate environment, it's been really easy for a lot of people to buy second homes with the intent at some point that they're going to be moving here, relocating here. They can use it as a vacation spot, but then when when their primary residence, regardless of what it is they decide to do, maybe they move or they retire, they make this their permanent home. So they're buying it as a secondary residence. And then also people who are using it as remote, they're living remotely, and so they can make this their primary residence.
Yes, and so what are things that would be helpful? Well, one, you probably would like to have an advocate, someone here that can explain the city. I like to do a buyer's consultation, and we don't do it so much in person today, but when people are relocating, the Zoom and the Google Meets and those things, those tools were tools that were always available, and now we're really getting into it because we can go over a map of the city and talk about different locations and areas and prices of homes and what you're going to get versus amenities in one spot versus another. So I like to take an interactive approach, more I'm the concierge. Of course I can send you information, but I think just that human touch of having someone that can explain things to you is very beneficial. So that's what I like to do now. I do a lot of Zoom calls or whatever.
Yeah, you also do a lot of the, if a client has a home that they love, you'll also go do an actual walkthrough of the home, right? Yeah. Which I think is great. You physically, I don't have an iPhone, but when you take the iPhone and you do a FaceTime or whatever it's called, that you actually will Zoom, or not Zoom, but link them in and do a full walkthrough, right?
Yeah, absolutely, especially depending on what we're doing. Now there's a lot more video tours that are available and things like that too. But I really think it's more of educating, because a lot of times people don't know, if I move here, well, the price per square foot is much higher than a different area of town. And why is that? Well, we can usually pinpoint those reasons, and I like to show people. So if I am, if I tell you, this part of town costs more, but this part, but if I actually open up and show you the prices, and we get on the map and we hover over houses and we do it together, we set that up together, it makes a lot more sense, to the buyer, that why things are the way they are.
Yeah. So do you typically take your clients through that, and then they will come in and actually travel in to see the homes physically?
Yeah, relocation is probably about 10% of my business. So most of my business is referral, because the people who relocate, that's just how my business has worked all these years. But we do get calls in for relocation, and most of the time it's off of a good review of someone else's relocation that went really well. And it's more of, I'm here, I will help them the second they come into town. We're gonna have a plan. We're very prepared in what we're gonna do, where we're gonna go. If they haven't been here, I have homework assignments, cool. What to go do, where you should go visit. I want you to go drive around and experience the city a little bit. I might not be able to do all of that with you because that's a lot of time, but I've thought of things that you should do to make the experience that much better.
Yeah, and then your clients will hone into one specific area that they're interested in, and then from there you'll start the search with them.
And I've had people come out in one shot. We've made it happen, and they felt very comfortable in what they were purchasing. I've also had it where people have come more than once. And that's okay too. A lot of times it takes a lot of planning and time to make a very big decision. So a series of phone calls, a series of Zoom calls, a trip here or there, and then once they realize what they're going to buy and what it's going to look like, and they kind of painted that picture, then we just make it happen.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think from a financing standpoint, a lot of people think that you have to put 20% down because it's not your primary residence. So as a second home, the minimum down payment is 10%. And so, know that you can get in. It's still affordable, lower interest rates. You have a little bit of mortgage insurance, but you can get in with 10%. And if you do it as primary residence, because you can work remote, you can actually follow the maximum loan to value, or your minimum down payment would be 5%, or even FHA 3.5%. So.
Right. So there are a variety of programs out there for any level of home ownership, price too. So, it just depends. It's all about educating. Yeah. Another thing is, once we get into, we find a house, it doesn't just end there, because the experience has to continue. So we like to go through, this. I have videos to help people with those steps along the way, just because it's more informative than just sending an email.
Yeah.
So we do a few things like that make the experience really great.
Yeah, I forget about that because, typically if you're here for 30 days, not 30 days, but you're here local, you have the inspection, you have your, appraisal, you have different things that you're going to go through that. But if you're not living here, this is going to be a secondary, or it's going to be something that you relocate into. How do you actually handle that with an inspection and things like that? So
most of our inspectors have lockbox access, and so I have a list of about 5 inspectors that I've all worked with. And of course, they can Google and do whatever they need to do to find someone. But that's a short list, and all of them are going to go out and do a full inspection, whether the client is there or not. And if they're there, we're going to go. We'll go at the tail end for the summary, if we can. With COVID, it's kind of, some people don't want to do that as much, so we don't have to do that. In the past, that was definitely more of a thing, but you don't have to be here for that. We're going to get a good report, and we're going to go through that report together and decide what things are important. And then when it comes to signing, we use digital signing platforms now, so we don't have to do anything in person. And even when it comes to closing, if you're not able or want to come into town yet, you don't have to do that either, because we'll use a mobile notary, and we can time that so that maybe your transition is a week later. You can go ahead and close on the property, and we'll help with getting maybe a manual lockbox there so that you can easily enter, or we'll do the big celebration when you come into town. But those are the kinds of things that I like to do.
Yeah, we had a client that he moved from Texas, right? And he sold his home in Texas. That was a lot of coordinating, because that's extra special. You have to coordinate the house that they're selling in wherever you live, and he had employment here that he had to start before he actually closed, right? He was here before. And that was timed perfectly, but again, working with the right people to make that happen.
Absolutely. So if you have any questions about relocating to Las Vegas, feel free to reach out to us. We'd love to help, be your concierge, and really make the process smooth and seamless, because that's really important to us. And in the end, you're going to make new friends. All right, I'm Jessica Hallenbeck with Signature Real Estate.
I'm Shelly Panzarella. Have an amazing day.
Yes, thank you.